I'm Matt de la Pena, and I'm an author of 4 young adult novels and 1 picture book. My novels are Ball Don't Lie, Mexican White Boy, We Were Here, and I Will Save You. And the picture book's called A Nation's Hope, and it's the story of Joe Louis, the boxer.
Yes.
And I also teach creative writing at NYU and Vermont College.
Fact that on Twitter, I had seen your tweet about the New York Times following you to this school in Tucson.
No, that was incredible. It was an incredible thing that they did. I'm just happy that, I feel like there isn't that much coverage of what's going on there, so it was great that they stepped in.
I do want to start with this student named Anna Verdugo.
Yes. Anna is, she's a student at Tucson High School, and she basically responded to one of the books. She was exposed to it in a class. And from there, she decided to read the rest of the books and became kind of connected with my work, which was great. And I feel like she's a good example of the kind of kids who respond to my work. And then she got the idea of trying to get me to her school. So, most students, it's, they find out how hard of work it is to get an author to their school, and they sort of drop it, right? Mm-hmm. But Anna, she kept going back to the librarian and her superintendent and saying, I really want him to come. I want him to be at our school. So she reached out to me and the librarian, the principal, and eventually she got it on the books. So it was kind of the first time that's ever happened to me as an author that a student was the one who initiated a visit.
Which I find to be phenomenal because Mexican White Boy has so many components to it that speak to diversity, that speaks to the fact that, you have this dream of being this, player and all these. I just find that for a girl to be so interested in having you there is great. Yet now we have this Tucson law, and you also have the New York Times following. Why don't you tell us a little bit about why you had the New York Times kind of shadow you while you were at the school?
Sure. Well, first, I agree with you. It was so cool that it was a girl, because sometimes, books with sports in them are set aside for boys. Mm-hmm. And that always bums me out because I think, Mexican White Boy and Ball Don't Lie too, they're able to connect with girls too. So I love when a girl reaches out about the books. But so what we found out in January was that this great program that Tucson had called the Mexican American Studies program, it was doing great. The students loved it. They were taking ownership of their own education. The teachers were super, super invested. And they found a way, the decision makers, to strip the program, even though an audit found that the program was highly successful and that more and more kids from this program were going to college. The percentages were in their favor, but they got rid of it. And Mexican White Boy was a part of that program, and so the book was taken out of the curriculum, along with many other great books like Juno Diaz Drown, Soner Cisneros, Sherman Alexie. Some amazing literature was not able to be taught because this program was dismantled. And so the New York Times found out about it through ALA, and they alerted them about the situation. And I got a email from Mike Weinrib, who said, I'd love to go there when you visit the school. And I'll be honest, at first I thought they would cancel the visit because I thought, hey, look, they're not going to let this happen. But the librarian, she's great. Her name's Amy, and she kept it going, and she did some stuff that was a little stealth, to keep me going in there, and it ended up working out. And the strange thing is, once people found out I was going there, one of the authors that had their book taken out of the curriculum, TV stations there, they were trying to get into the schools, and the superintendents, they wouldn't let anybody in there except the New York Times. So the New York Times, they were able to bring in a photographer and the reporter Mike Weinrib, and they were there for the whole day.
Were you satisfied with the coverage as far as the message that needed to come out about this?
I am. I think the main thing is, there are a couple things happening to kind of like combat what's going on in Tucson, but I felt like there wasn't enough national coverage.
I agree.
There was something in your guys' magazine, School Library Journal. There are a couple local things in Tucson, but I felt like I was hoping that there would be more and more. And this was a great first big thing, in a paper like the Times. It was much of the article was surrounded my visit, which is great for me. But I guess ultimately it needs to pick up from that, and gain momentum. And now, I just found out that this great gesture by the professors at Seattle University's law program, they're actually going in there and pro bono, they're representing the students and the teachers, and they're basically suing to get the program reinstated. So that's going on now, and they heard about it from this article.
So Matt, is the outrage the fact that they took the books out, or is the outrage that this program is no longer in the schools? What is the outrage? I kind of have a sense that it has more to do with what the storyline is.
Yeah, it's the program. I mean, these kids, they were so invested in their education. They were learning about themselves. They were being asked to question, the things that they've been taught through the years. And I mean, there's nothing better in education than saying, hey, we should look at things critically. Us, the authors, of course, it pains us to have our books taken out. But the truth is, it's really about these kids being able to continue with this program that they all loved. I met the teachers. They're amazing. They put so many hours into this program. And so I think the biggest thing for me, my outrage, is here are these kids who had an opportunity through this program and these teachers to be exposed to things that could change their lives because they identified with it.